Welcome to the lesson on users and security. In this lesson, we'll address some common questions, such as, what are security roles? What roles are provided to support NextGen Help Desk? How do I assign these roles to NextGen Help Desk users? And how do I configure NextGen Help Desk agents? So, what are security roles? You can think of a security role as a role that grants access to the application. For example, access to application pages, such as My Help Desk, access to records, such as help desk requests you have filed, and actions that are available to you on a page, for example, create a new help desk request. What roles does the application provide for you? First, there's NextGen Human Resources Help Desk User. This role grants users access to the My Help page where they can file help requests and manage their help requests. We also have NextGen Human Resources Help Desk Agent where they also have access to the My Help page, but they also have access to the Help Desk Requests page where they can manage other people's service requests and work with people on resolving those requests. In addition to users and agents, there are help desk managers and help desk administrators. As you might expect, help desk managers can see their reports service requests and see how their reports are doing, and help desk administrators can manage requests. In addition to the 4 help desk roles, there are 2 roles that are used to manage data access. For help desk users, there's the employee role. The employee role allows users to access and manage their own records. All employees are automatically assigned the employee role, so typically you don't need to assign this role. On the other hand, if we look at help desk agents, managers, or administrators, not only do they have to manage their own record, they have to manage other people's records. Therefore, they have a role called resource that allows them access to other people's records. Now that we understand what roles are provided to us, how do we assign these roles to a NextGen Help Desk user? Let's consider Jane, a NextGen Help Desk user. In the application, we'll create what's called a role provisioning role. We set conditions on that role provisioning role. Maybe it's specific to Jane's job title. Maybe it's for all employees in the application. The reason that we do not provide a role provisioning rule to you is so that you can develop your own conditions. Once we have this role provisioning rule, it assigns the NextGen Human Resources Help Desk user and employee roles to Jane. Let's look at an example role provisioning rule. We went to the Manage HCM Role Provisioning Rules task, but we see that it's called a role mapping in the task itself. Role provisioning rules are role mappings. We gave the mapping a name, NextGen Human Resources Help Desk User, and a start date, so that it will become valid after that date. Next, we gave it a condition. We want to assign it to all employees, but we want those employees to be active. Finally, we assign the role NextGen Human Resource Help Desk User. What about the employee role? Well, since the assignment type is all active employees, they will already be assigned the employee role, so we don't need to add it here. You can add it here if you want to. It will not be double assigned by role provisioning rules. Now that we've seen how to provision users, let's take a look at agents. Recall that agents require the resource security role. They also need to be resources in the application. A resource is used for record management and belongs to a resource organization. You can think of a resource organization as the reporting hierarchy for your team. Every manager owns a resource organization, and every report is part of that resource organization, and then you arrange the resource organizations in a hierarchy. The reason for this setup is that resources may be added to teams and be assigned records. Managers see their subordinates' records through the resource organization hierarchy, and more. The third use of the term resource is the resource role. This can be thought of as the job role for the user. It's what shows up as their job if you look at them in the resource hierarchy. So their resource role might be NextGen Human Resources Help Desk Agent. You must create this resource role, but then you can create a role provisioning role that uses that resource role as a condition and then assigns the necessary security roles to the agent. Once again, let's take a look at an example. This mapping is NextGen Human Resources Help Desk Agent. It has a from date, but this time, instead of an assignment type or an assignment status, we use the resource role that we created, NextGen Human Resource Help Desk Agent. In the roles, we've assigned the necessary resource security role, as well as NextGen Human Resource Help Desk Agent. Once again, since we are expecting all of our users to be employees, we don't add the employee role here, but we could if we needed to. Now that we understand how to manage individual agents and users, what about importing agents and users? You're likely to only create 2 or 3 users and 1 or 2 agents, and then you'll want to import the rest. If you're using CX Sales and BTP Service to manage your users, you have 2 tools, Import Macros or Import Management, to import your users. In this case, since you're working in Sales and BTP Service, it recognizes that auto-provisioning rules are necessary, and so you only need to run 4 post-import processes. You send the pending LDAP requests, update the person search keywords, run the reporting hierarchy generation, and synchronize the user GUID. The auto-provisioning will be performed automatically. On the other hand, if you're using Human Capital Management to manage your users, you instead use the HCM Data Loader tool. Since it is not aware of auto-provisioning rules, you have 7 processes to run. Of these 7 processes, 2 are critical: Synchronize Person Records and Auto-Provision Roles for all users. The Synchronize Person Records synchronizes the HCM records with the Help Desk records. After this process completes, you should sign in and check your Help Desk users to make sure they're visible. You refresh the manager hierarchy, update the person search keywords, optimize the person search keywords index, and then you need to auto-provision the roles for all users. You did not need to auto-provision the roles for sales because sales knew about auto-provisioning. Then, after you've auto-provisioned the roles, you need to send the pending LDAP requests because you've assigned roles to users, and you need to send personal data for multiple users for LDAP. These processes are listed in recommended order for each pillar. Notice that for sales, you send the pending LDAP requests before you update the person search keywords because sales is aware of roles, whereas in HCM, you run the pending LDAP requests after updating the person search keywords because you're adding people before you're assigning the roles. If you're interested in finding additional information about users and security, if you're using CX Sales and B2B Service to manage your users, there are Oracle University courses, including Implementation Foundation and Implementing Sales, on security, managing users, and importing data. There's also Getting Started with Your CX Sales Implementation in the documentation. Finally, on My Oracle Support, there's a Quick Import Macros document for using the Quick Import Macros to import your users. If you're using Human Capital Management, there are also Oracle University courses, including Oracle HCM Cloud on security and Oracle HCM Cloud on importing data. There's also documentation available, including implementing global human resources and securing HCM. Let's visit the key points of the lesson. First, security roles are assigned to application users and provide access to the application and data. Role provisioning rules, also known as mappings, assign these roles to users. So to set up a help desk user, you need to assign the employee role and a help desk user role. To create agents, you must also assign the resource role, a help desk agent role, and you must make them resources in the application. This concludes this lesson.